Hi guys, Dr. Vince Hassel with Des Moines Hyperbaric Oxygen Therapy. I wanted to introduce you to our new chamber that we got. This is a 1.4 absolute atmosphere chamber. I'll explain more as we go. It's a smaller chamber than the 1.3 that we have. Tina's going to do her first dive in the chamber, and so this is how we get a person into a chamber. This is the oxygen concentrator. This delivers 93 to 95% oxygen. This is our air conditioner unit. Sometimes it can get warm in the chamber, so we can either turn the AC on or the air conditioner off, depending on how comfortable you are, if you like it cooler or if you like it warm. And then this is the compressor that fills the chamber with air. And so there's a zip up the middle. Three different zippers that we zip her into the chamber with. And this is the pressure release valve on the side of the chamber, and so the pressure release valve is now closed. This chamber goes to 42 kPa, which is kilopascals, so of depth. So this is equivalent of 12 to 15 feet under seawater with oxygen. So the way the therapy works with hyperbaric oxygen therapy and the success of what it does for the body is oxygen under pressure. It's not just oxygen. So our pulse ox, if we put a pulse oximeter on our finger, our percentage is going to be 96 to 100%. And we can put a green tank of medical grade oxygen on and raise that a percentage or two, but we're at the mercy of the quality of our capillaries and our microcirculation for those single file line red blood cells to transfer through the capillaries and exchange the oxygen and pick up the carbon dioxide with our circulatory system of our arteries, capillaries, and veins. What happens with hyperbaric oxygen therapy is we're driving up the oxygen, but with the gas laws of physics, we're driving that oxygen into the plasma. So Boyle's law says a gas under pressure goes to smaller bubbles and can fit in a smaller space. And Henry's law says a gas under pressure held over a liquid, the gas will move into the liquid. So what we're doing with the hyperbaric pressure is we're moving the oxygen into the plasma, and that plasma can reach 4 times further than what the microcirculation and the red blood cells can take that oxygen, especially when there's damage from aging, inflammation, stresses, things like this that's going to affect that microcirculation. So for example, if someone has a stroke and a clot's here, now the red blood cells can't get the oxygen past to those cells that are still there. The scientists call those cells idling. So the mitochondria and all the parts are still there in the cell, but they're not receiving the oxygen to make them fire and run. So with hyperbaric oxygen therapy, we're driving that oxygen into the plasma. That plasma can reach to those brain cells that are not getting the oxygen, and it revs those idling cells back up. So it can help somebody not talking post-stroke to talking, and not walking to walking, and cognitive dysfunction because of post-stroke, it's turning those brain cells back on. Not just post-stroke though, it's everything. Dementia, it's long COVID symptoms, loss of taste and smell, it's neuropathies, it's wound healing, it's burn healing. Maybe you saw something with Jay Leno on with his burns and his wound healing with hyperbaric oxygen. It's something that would have taken 3 months, it healed in 3 weeks. So it's acceleration of healing. Every time you do a dive of hyperbaric oxygen, it's stimulating those mitochondria, which is the energy factories in our cell, and stimulating ATP production, which is energy for the cell. And then as you do intermittent sessions, going from hyperoxic to normal, hyperbaric to normal, that's going to do stem cell release, the regrowth and regeneration factors, something called angiogenesis, which is regrowth and regeneration of the capillaries, elongate telomeres. Telomeres is what the caps on our DNA that protects our DNA. And so it's truly, it's a fountain of youth. But the reason why is aging is inevitable. We're all going to age, but I want to age with the best quality of life and the best health of life possible. Oxygen is incredibly important for the optimal function of our cells and the thriving of our cells to heal, regenerate, survive, and to just keep us as healthy as possible. So This is our new chamber, 1.4 atmospheres, 12 to 15 feet below seawater is the depth that it dives us to. It's a 60-minute session, whereas our 1.3 atmosphere chamber is a 75-minute session. When we talk about which one's better, there's not really one better than the other. What it is it's the amount of pressure times the percentage of oxygen times time. So with the 1.4, we're deeper with pressure. Percentage of oxygen is the same with the oxygen concentrator at 93 to 95% oxygen, and we do a 60-minute session for the time. With our 1.3 chamber that we can put 2 people in, actually, it's a larger chamber, so with autistic kids, a mom and a child or a dad and a child can go in. Couples can go in, so they can do their hyperbaric dives together. That is 1.3, so that's 10 to 12 feet below seawater. Same oxygen concentrators, so 93 to 95% oxygen, but it's a 75-minute session, so that's what gets the same work done. It's just faster in the 1.4 because of the perfusion of oxygen with the depth. So that's it for this discussion. Dr. Vince Hassel with Des Moines Hyperbaric Oxygen Therapy. We'll talk to you next time.